So I am excited to have Bonnie Collins sitting down here at Podcast Patio. Thanks for dropping in. I know it was kind of hard to schedule.
Yeah, I know it was. It took us a while, didn't it?
Yes, you're a busy person.
Busy, but yeah, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Well, I appreciate it. Here at Podcast Patio is kind of explaining what we do. And one thing I wanted to do with Podcast Patio is talk to people that have a foundation like yourself, have a charity, have a cause, have an event coming up, something to promote and help other people through. Give a little bit is what we're calling it. And that could be give a little bit of your time. Foundations and charities always need donations, or it could just be just sharing the message and just sharing the content or sharing the show or something like that. So I appreciate. Now, I know you, and you tell me if you get recognized. I know you as the Bloody Mary lady at Third Eye Brewing.
Yes, I do Bloody Mary Bar every Sunday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's an amazing, I do all my mix from scratch. And we have all the toppings. We've got sliders and shrimp and
yes, I always share. That's the Bloody Mary that I always have. And then I take a picture of it and I share it with my friends.
It's very photo worthy.
It's like a little meal.
Yeah.
It's like a thing
it's
stacked.
A meal on a drink.
A special kind of Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
So when my husband decided to do a brewery or to open a brewery, when he told me that was what he was planning on doing, I thought, well, if you're going to do that, then I'm going to do Bloody Mary Bar because I like Bloody Marys. And I don't know, I just thought it would be fun.
It's a great addition.
Yeah, it brings people in on Sundays. Sometimes Sundays are, a little slow. So it's a great way to, bring in people. And people come from all over. We have people driving in from Kentucky and Indiana because they've heard about a Bloody Mary.
That's awesome. Yeah. So not only is it a great brewery, and now there's two of them.
Yes.
There's another location in Hamilton as well. But, Third Eye being right down the street, great. So
yeah, and just throw it out there. So we don't do Bloody Mary Bar in Hamilton. We only do it in Sharonville because we did not realize when we built Hamilton that the zone we are in is actually dry on Sundays. So
one of those Sunday rules.
Beer, but we can't do liquor. Can't do Bloody Mary
come
Bar.
to Sharonville.
So come to Sharonville on Sundays.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Yes. So the other way I know you, Bonnie, is I have been to a Third Eye and been to the Bloody Mary Bar, and you often have you'll have like a raffle,
bourbon raffle usually.
Bourbon raffle, and you said that that's kind of ongoing on your website. But tell people, so your foundation is LIVELIKEMAYA.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about your foundation that the bourbon raffle and your other events are centered around.
So our daughter Maya was diagnosed in 2011 with leukemia, and it was a very tough type of leukemia to treat. It was called acute myeloid leukemia. She was 6.5 when she was diagnosed. She endured 2 bone marrow transplants at Cincinnati Children's, kind of back to back. She relapsed pretty quickly, had the second one, and then she was in remission for 4 years, but then unfortunately relapsed again. So we ended up taking her to St. Jude, and I don't know if you guys heard of St. Jude, but I mean, I'm sure most people
absolutely. Where's St. Jude's?
It's in Memphis.
In Memphis, okay.
And it's so they have satellites all over the United States, but the main hospital is in Memphis, and it was built by Danny Thomas. There's a lot of history to it. It's pretty cool. The history is very cool. But we ended up going there for a trial. Cincinnati Children's kind of told us, we'll probably do the same treatment again, and her chances of relapse are pretty high. You might want to seek some other options. So we called St. Jude. They flew us out there for free. We met with the doctors. They said they were going for a cure. We were sold when we heard that. So we packed her up. So she and I went to St. Jude, and my husband, who was working at P&G at the time, stayed home with our older daughter, Anna. And while we were at St. Jude, it was such an amazing experience. It's completely run by donors. They have an incredible fundraising machine that really fundraises and raises lots of money. But it's so amazing. They put us in this gorgeous apartment. We lived there for 1.5 years. She did go through a 3rd trial transplant there. It's kind of a Hail Mary. And while we were there, we met families that lived on the streets practically. They had never lived in such a beautiful apartment, and they were shocked that they could live there for free while their child was being treated. And they just said it was such a wonderful thing to be able to live in this beautiful place. Now I have to pay any medical bills. We received a stipend for groceries every week. Everything was covered. They fed us meals there. So she did pass. Unfortunately, she had some complications of her transplant and passed away at St. Jude.
And how old was she?
So she was 14 when she finally passed. So she fought for about 6.5 years. I knew I wanted to do something to keep her memory alive and to make it a positive experience out of something so horrible. She had always wanted to do kind acts. She would hide toys throughout the hallway for the children. We'd go to the gift shop and buy little trinkets, and she would hide them in the hallway, and she'd love to see the kids find them. We would, on the way to one of her doctor's appointments, she would see a homeless person. She would want to go to Burger King, get a meal. And I'll never forget one day we were driving, we picked up the meal from Burger King, pulled over on the side of the road to feed this person. And we rolled the window down, and she was bald. And the homeless man walked up, and she had the little bag of food and her little bald head. And he took one look at her, said, "Oh my gosh, I will pray for you." And she said, "I will pray for you too." And that was just the type of kid she was. She just was. And we played bingo one day, and there was a little girl suffering. She had a brain tumor, and she was crying. And Maya got all her bingo, like they would get little tokens to pick out toys, and she gave all her tokens to this little girl. I mean, that's just how Maya was. So
she was a bit of a mentor in training herself, even as a kid.
Exactly. She was. And she had this big heart. So when she passed, I knew I wanted to do something, to carry out her legacy of kindness. And we came home, and my Mason, we live in Mason, and they just, the community just rallied around our family. It was incredible. The football team was homecoming when we came home. She passed away in October. We came home, and the whole football stadium turned blue. The football players had blue shoelaces. Her favorite color, was blue. Football players had blue shoelaces. Cheerleaders had blue pom-poms, blue fireworks. I mean, the whole town turned blue for like that whole month. All of our friends just said, let's form a nonprofit. Let's do this. Like, you have the backing of the entire community.
So you felt all of this good vibes and good energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just a way to get me out of bed because, it was so awful, of course. We lost our child after all of that. She fought for so long. And that, for me, it was therapeutic to be able to focus on something and do good. Mm-hmm. So we started the LIVELIKEMAYA Foundation in 2019. So she passed in 17. And then we started it in 19. And it just took off.
So you started with the Mason School District and then kind of went from there?
Yeah, well, it was
Did you do like scholarships and things?
So we do scholarships. Okay. Yeah. So it was really, my board members are my good friends. We all were in a play group together. Their kids were best friends with Maya. So they are my posse now on my nonprofit. And my husband also, he's on the board as well. There are a lot of nonprofits out there that support research, but not a lot of nonprofits that support financial. And
and that's interesting. And I watched some other stories on your website, things like that. That's an interesting distinction, that research is one thing, but taking care of families like what you went through, what does the financials do for people?
So we literally, when we were at Cincinnati, don't get me wrong, I love Cincinnati Children's.
Oh, great organization.
Yeah. And they're number one. They were just ranked number one this week, I think, in the nation, which is actually worldwide. But anyway, we received 2 bills for $1 million each for each of her bone marrow transplant children's. Literally, we opened 2 bills for $1 million. Now, Tom worked at, so we had great benefits, great insurance. They took care of us, but we still had to pay about $40,000 per transplant. And when we ended up at St. Jude, we never saw a bill. So that really stuck with me. And we saw so many friends losing their houses, their cars, just trying to keep their children alive.
Because you're in that same atmosphere of meeting other families and people who can't pay their mortgage or pay for their car or travel, things like that.
It was devastating to some of these families. So that's really what I took away from St. Jude when I left. That really stuck with me. I thought, I want to bring a little bit of St. Jude to Cincinnati, because we have such an amazing hospital here, and families travel from all over the world to be treated at Cincinnati Children's. And some of them just come with the clothes on their back. Your kid gets diagnosed, and some of these cancers are really fast growing, and it's
so there's no fundraising time. No. You can't say, let's have a
GoFundMe because we got to, whatever. So these families literally, pack up, jump on a plane, fly out to Cincinnati, and then they're at Ronald McDonald House. Sometimes there's a waiting list at Ronald McDonald House, so they have to find, in Cincinnati, I mean, they have social workers that help, but I get calls from social workers asking, can you help this family? They need an Airbnb or a hotel. We're having trouble finding space for them. So that's what we do. We'll put them up in an Airbnb until they can, transition into Ronald McDonald. And there's also, I'm on the board, there's another nonprofit that runs Hope's Way, which is for the Children's Liberty. And they have built some really beautiful apartments. They just built them last year or the year before. So I'm on that board now. And so a lot of times the family is being treated at Liberty for proton radiation therapy. They fly in for that. And again, there's only a certain amount of proton centers in the United States. So one of them is at Liberty Children's. So these families need places to stay. So they stay in Hope's Way, but sometimes Hope's Way is full, and
Sure.
we'll help them.
And then how do people find you? You said through social workers, through your website.
Usually social workers' website.
You must do a lot of outreach too through those organizations.
Yeah. I think once word gets out to one hospital's social workers, it spreads, because now we're getting calls from Texas and California. So we don't only support families in Cincinnati, we support families all over.
I know you just finished you had a golf tournament that was local. How did that go?
So it was great. We raised about a little over $35,000. And that money not only is going to helping families, but we also do support research, because my motto is if we can find cures, then we wouldn't have to do what we're doing. So we do support pediatric cancer research as well. We have committed, Cincinnati Children's has a brand new leukemia center, at least advanced leukemia research center and therapy center. I can never get the word out, but it's an amazing institution. They've just started in Cincinnati. We met Dr. Starchanowski. He's running the center. He's amazing. And they are working primarily on AML, which is what Maya had, her type of leukemia, but they're also looking at other forms, a lot of rare leukemias that are tougher to treat. And what really got me with him and what really made me want to support him was we had met him when Maya was in remission. We were at a Leukemia and Lymphoma Society fundraiser, and we met him. He was speaking, and I went up, and he was talking about his repositories down in his lab and how he had samples of the kids they were treating. And so, because we always donated tissue samples or cell samples for them to do research on her. And I went up to him and I said, my daughter Maya is in treatment, and we've donated her cells to Children's for research. And he said, you know what? I've studied her cells. And that really
That's wild.
Stuck with me.
Yeah.
And so when she passed, kind of, time went on and I kind of forgot about the whole situation. And then I remember taking another tour. It was the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society took us on a tour of the hospital, and we went down into the labs, and there he was. And I was like, oh, he looks so familiar. And then he started talking, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And he said he still has Maya's samples down there.
Wow.
So when I heard he was starting this new advanced leukemia research and advanced therapy center, and I knew it was him who was doing it, I knew, okay, we have to support that. Mm-hmm. So we've committed to raising $200,000 over the next 5 years for that institution.
So you've got a lot of work to do.
So we have a lot of work to do. Yeah, we're busy.
Well, it sounds like you're really busy, and I find it fascinating. My wife and I were just talking about this today. I had lost a sibling when I was a kid. And it kind of really shut down my parents. And I remember that time in life. And were you in that time in your life, or what was it? Was it coming back and support from the community that made you kind of not shut down and decide, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, for sure. And I'll be honest, Maya fought for so long, and she suffered a lot. And, she was amazing, and she always had a smile on her face, really until the end. But in the end, it was almost a relief. It's a weird feeling because, you're going through this with your child for 6.5 years. And it almost was like, she needs that. She's done. Like she needs to rest. So I think for me, I was kind of numb. I felt a little weird sense of kind of like, thank goodness she's finally free from this. And so, but so you come home and you're kind of in a fog. Sure. And I remember I honestly don't remember a lot from that. I know we had the visitation, we had the celebration of life, and the whole community came out. It was amazing, but I only remember like snippets of it. And that's understandable. I mean, it's such a numbing experience to lose anyone. You lose someone
who is way too young.
Yes.
You know, you're losing your children.
Yeah.
And it's just, it doesn't seem,
It's not right.
Doesn't
it's
seem
not
right.
natural to
Yep.
lose your child.
Doesn't seem natural. And you must be very proud of her, you know, as far as legacy and
Yes.
being able to affect other kids, you know, right in her same situation.
Yeah, she's changed.
Yep.
She's changed lives. She's changing lives, and we're carrying out her legacy in a positive way. You know, we offer scholarships. Also, we mentioned that earlier, but we offer scholarships to rising seniors at Mason, seniors that maybe do exemplary acts of kindness or goodwill throughout the community. We don't necessarily, you know, this past year we had, probably 25 applications, and they were amazing. And all these kids are like, their GPAs are,
Yeah.
and for me, it was really hard. It was like, who do you pick? And I finally stepped back and I said, you know what? We don't need to pick the top kid, you know, the kid who has the best grades and has done a million things. We should pick what Maya would pick. You know, let's think about her and her heart and what it would, you know, what she would have, what child would she have in her heart? And that made it easier for me to pick and then I reread through the applications and some of the things they had done, Maya would have done. And I thought, okay, these are the kids we need.
That's good. Yeah. So her influence is there.
Is
as well.
impacting
Yep.
our choice.
And you have some events coming up. I mentioned you had the golf tournament and you do the bourbon raffle, which
Yes.
is that on your website?
Yes.
Coming up, is it just seasonal or something?
Yeah. So we the golf tournament is over her birthday month, September, which is also Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. It's always, I think next year will be the second weekend because of Labor Day in September. And then we start a fall bourbon raffle right before that. And we run it usually for a couple months. So we're drawing this one in November. It is on our website. If you go under events on our website, you'll see bourbon raffle and you can purchase tickets there. And then we do another spring raffle usually around May.
And that's the best kind of raffle because regardless of winning bourbon or not, you're supporting a great foundation.
Yeah. And this year we have a full set of Blanton's and a bottle of Weller and a bottle of Kentucky. I don't know. I'm
the good stuff. Bourbon. So you're more, you mentioned you were more the Bloody Mary person. Yes. So we're talking beer, bourbon, and Bloody Mary. So this covers everything.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what's your next event coming up?
So our next event is a prom for children with critical illnesses. I have postcards and
okay.
But it is going to be November 9th. So Maya at St. Jude, they had a prom just for the kids who went to St. Jude because most of those kids are not from Memphis. They're coming in from other areas of the world. And Maya always wanted to go. And unfortunately, she did die at 14, so she wasn't able to go. I always had it in my mind that I wanted to do this. But I thought, it's a huge feat. I really want it to be amazing. And I was a little daunted by the whole idea. Then I thought, well, where are we going to host it? And I just happened to, in my Rotary meeting one morning, Matthew 25, a speaker, the CEO, came in, and he was talking about a brand new event center they're building. They're using it as a fundraising vessel for Matthew 25. They're putting on weddings and raising money for their mission, which is disaster relief. And as he's talking and showing us pictures of the event center, I was thinking, my goodness, this would be perfect. So I went up to him and I said, we're thinking of doing this prom and blah, 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 blah. And he was like, we'll give you the space, which is amazing. Yes. And it's gorgeous.
Because the space alone can be
thousands of dollars.
Yes, crazy. Yeah. Yes.
So this space seats 500. It's gorgeous. It's got a beautiful chapel. It's got a bridal suite with 10 little stations. So we're going to have hair and makeup artists come in and do their hair and makeup that morning. If they want, they can set up appointments. We've been working with Blessed with a Dress, Suit and More. Her name's Ruth Ann. She runs this nonprofit and she collects prom attire. And then she sets up little pop-ups and you can come. It's used, but you come and get fitted and take it home for free. So we had a pop-up 2 weekends ago and we had some kids show up and pick out suits and dresses.
Prom's a thing that's an experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're doing it in November. We felt like if we did it during prom season, it would be hard to get a lot of donations. So it's actually worked out nicely. We're getting lots of food donations, the pop-up for the prom attire. We're getting, we've got Miss Ohio and Miss Teen Ohio is coming. We've got Rosie Redlegs from the Reds. Hoping to have Who Day. We're still waiting to hear back about Who Day.
All the biggies.
Therapy dogs. Yeah, we're rolling out the red carpet. We're going to crown them king and queen of prom, and we're really excited.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
sounds
great.
So all that's on, and I'll put that on our website as well. Okay. And so that's your next big event, and then you just do events throughout the year.
Yep. We did a pickleball tournament for the first time this year, which was super fun. It was a learning experience. We knew nothing about pickleball, so we're hoping next year is going to be bigger and better. But it was great. It turned out great. We still raised about, I think, $15,000. So we're going to do that again this spring. And then I think this year we're going to bring our bags, brews, and bourbon back. So
What
it's
is
a
that?
bingo for top shelf bourbon and designer handbags. And we do that at Third Eye. So we do it usually on a Sunday night. We might shut down a little early, and I think we're going to try to do it again in the spring.
There's always interesting things going on at Third Eye. I know we've gone to some chef dinners, some beer, bourbon pairing there.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, the Bloody Mary bar and things. So it seems like Third Eye is always involved.
We always.
And your husband is one of the brewers?
So he's one of the owners.
One of the owners.
So he's a co-owner. There's 6 owners, actually, of Third Eye. So, and he's one of them.
I see.
And I came on, I'm actually doing event planning, and I do Bloody Mary bar event planning, and I do social media and graphic design.
Okay.
I'm a graphic designer by trade. So I've gotten into doing pretty much all the social media, and then he and I tag team. When he was at P&G, he was a designer. So he's very good with graphics. So the two of us tag team, however our schedules allow, we'll take on projects and tag team. And he's doing a lot of event planning as well. So we're planning maybe a Halloween party. It's kind of in the works right now. We're still trying to see if we can get it to pull it together.
There's always stuff.
But
I think it's great too that you have this public facing place too for Live Like Maya, because it's always busy and there's always events going on. People know about Sunday Bloody Marys, and there's a lot of something for everybody at Third Eye, and the food's really good, so it's a good place to be. And it's just a great place for you to be, out doing, getting word out about your next event, about the golf tournament.
Well, in the golf tournament, our after party is at Third Eye, which is fun. It makes it a little unique because the tournament itself is at Beckett Ridge, and then after we pack up and we all bring it over to Third Eye and have a big party over there. We have a band.
Great.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. So it makes it a little different that we have the after party.
All kinds of stuff. So that was why it was hard to get you in to sit down.
We're busy.
Talk a little bit. Now we're talking about you need your own podcast as well.
I guess I do.
That's the joke with everybody.
That's my plate.
Is that everybody has a podcast.
I know.
But that's what's so great about now. Everybody's got something to say. And instead of talking about everything, podcasts are more about talking about the one thing that someone is, listening.
I think podcasts are great because I am so busy. I don't have time to read. Sometimes I'm a social media person and I don't have time to get on social media, and look at things. So podcasts are great because you take a walk, you can plug them in, on your car. I love the whole new era of podcasts because I think it's a great way to get the information out, and you don't have to be like in front. I mean, you can watch it, but you can also listen, which is really nice.
Yeah, and that's what Maya would be into. She'd probably be she'd be podcasting.
Well, let me tell you.
What was some of the other interests that she had? Because I watched some of the stories about you.
Did you see any of her videos?
I did.
Okay.
And so she seemed a little,
She called it vlogging. I don't know if that's what everybody calls it. Called it vlogging.
That's kind of an early word. But what were some of the things she was into?
Gosh, I don't even know. Like vlogging and art. She was really creative and artistic. She wasn't really into sports. Ballet. She loved dance and did that before she got sick. Unfortunately, she was in the hospital so much that she didn't have the opportunity to get out and play sports and do a lot of the things that a kid her age would do. So she got very involved in artwork and things that she could do in the hospital. But the vlogging was really, I think, therapeutic for her. She really got quite a following on social media, and her friends loved it because they could keep track of her.
Could stay connected.
Yeah, because she was in Memphis and they couldn't see her. And so it became quite a thing. She would get on there, and when she felt good, when she felt bad, she wouldn't do it. But when she felt good, and some of them are hilarious, and you can find them if you go on her website. If you go on, I think it's under About Maya, or it's one of those tabs on our website. You can go through and you can find them and you can watch through. They're all on YouTube, and some of them are hilarious. Like she was really spunky and really had a really funny sense of humor. Funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like she would slow-mo she would burp and sneeze and do it in slow-mo, and
just like cool kid stuff.
Yeah. The stuff that kids love.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to know more about, and you mentioned donations, I'm sure you've heard a ton of stories from families that have trouble with this, or like you said, a place to stay, or travel, or whatever it is. But if people want to, they can donate. Do you ever need volunteers for these events and things as well? So what's the kind of help?
We're looking for sponsors right now for prom to help us pay for. I mean, we have had a lot donated, but we are incurring some costs. So sponsorship, and you can go online under events, and you can find the prom event on our website and read about the sponsorship. So we're really looking for sponsors, but volunteers, we actually have probably about 100 volunteers already signed up for prom. So I think we're good right now, but in the future, we do Charm at the Farm. We actually sell Third Eye beer at Charm at the Farm, and the nonprofit makes all the proceeds. We always are looking for volunteers for that. It's a vintage market. It happens 3 times a year. The next one's coming up next weekend, actually.
And where is that held at?
And is in Lebanon, at a farm in Lebanon. And it's
I've heard of that.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
Clothing, jewelry. There's girl stuff, but there's guy stuff too. They have all kinds of stuff. But we literally have a really cute alcohol trailer. Our neighbor, she owns the trailer. And we set up Third Eye beer. She sells cute cocktails. We sell Third Eye. And we do really well, each one for the foundation. And we receive 100% of the proceeds. So we are always looking for volunteers for things like that. The pickleball tournament, the bingo event, we'll be looking for volunteers for that.
He has a lot going on.
We have a lot. We're busy.
That's
all
awesome.
The time. And if I'm not doing the Charm at the Farm, I'm beer festivals. I'm helping with that. We were at the Corn Maze Festival last weekend in Indiana. So it's a lot running around. But I like it. I like to be busy.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, and then you mentioned all the things going on at Third Eye, and what do you like to do? You listen to some podcasts.
Yes, podcasts. Honestly, my passion is the foundation. I am all things foundation when I have any spare time. I enjoy it. I just enjoy helping. I love talking to the families. I love meeting the kids, fighting cancer. We do we do other little fun things for them. We work with another nonprofit called So Many Angels, and we set up a photo shoot on a green screen. The kids come in costume. So whatever they want to be, Superwoman, Spider-Man, baseball, football players, and we photograph them on the green screen. And then the graphic designers from this nonprofit transpose them and put them like Spider-Man. He'll be climbing on the wall.
Oh, awesome.
And
we do magic of green screen.
And then we make a big deal. We'll have them come and do a reveal. We do it usually at the golf tournament. Everybody loves watching it. It's very emotional. Some of the parents, get choked up to see. They're beautiful. They're these big canvases of these kids and dressed up to what they want to be when they grow up.
I would do that.
It's really cool. And so last year we sent a girl to a Bengals practice. She dressed up as Zach, the Bengals coach, Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor. Okay.
I'm not a sports person. So she dressed up as Zach Taylor, and we actually had him sign her canvas, and then we sent her to a Bengals practice.
Oh,
so
awesome.
Things like that just fuel my fire. Yes. I love doing it.
Just to make someone's day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's very cool. Well, I appreciate you coming in to Podcast Patio, and we got a lot more to talk about. So anytime you have an event coming up, you want to talk about that, you want to get some social media clips for that, definitely.
Perfect. That'd be awesome.
Check us out, because that's what we want to do, is just highlight some local events and some things.
Good things that are happening.
Good things are happening, and everybody can give a little bit. So it's easy to give when you're already at Third Eye or you're already at Charm at the Farm.
And speaking of, can you add this in?
Absolutely.
We are doing a toy drive this year. We do it every year, and it's at Third Eye. We have a tree, more of like a gift card drive, not as much a toy drive, but we'll have ornaments you can take off, and it'll say what gift card we need. And then we have drop-off boxes. And then you can also go to our wish list on Amazon and order, and it'll be shipped directly to us.
Okay.
So that is one thing we'll be.
Yeah, and for people who don't know, I always assume that everybody knows that Third Eye Brewing is in Sharonville, on the Sharonville exit, just
across from the convention center.
Across from the convention center, easy to find right there that's Chester Road. Yep. And then the other location is in Hamilton, and that's on
Erie.
Yeah. So that's kind of an up and coming area too. And Hamilton's cool. All of a sudden, things are going on in Hamilton. Yeah. Who knew? I grew up in Hamilton, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love things going on.
Yeah. Hamilton's great. They're great people. They're good people.
Yeah. All right. Well, if people want to know more, we'll put that website up. LIVELIKEMAYA is .org, and find out more and talk to Bonnie directly, and always need something. All right.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's great. I'm glad we finally made it. We made it work.
Absolutely.